Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay, welcome to another Fireside Chat. I am Alon. I'm happy to be joined by Neil Atkinson from the Anfield Rep. Neil, how are you doing this morning?
I am absolutely splendid. Delighted to be here. I've FPL this year. We've talked in the past about this. Yeah. I'm in a league. I think I currently sit fourth or fifth. It's a league of about 30. About 100. You might let me know if this is now plausible because everyone's settled into the pattern of having the same players, which is what happens, and then you have your differentials and all that. Yeah. I've been hunting down top spots relentlessly, some would say, across the last sort of 8 weeks when I realised it might just be on this. Yeah. So I was sort of, at one point I was about 11th and I've now got myself to 4th and I'm about 100 points off top. So what are my chances of turning that round between now and the end of the campaign if I make smart moves?
It's going to be tough. A lot is going to depend on how much you and how much the other person in first place pays attention, because this time of the season, things get really confusing.
I think they're paying attention. I think they are paying attention, yeah.
It's going to be tough, but there's a lot of areas
I've still got a wild card. I've still got a triple captain, and I've still got a bench boost.
Yeah.
So that's what I've got in my back pocket here. I've got a lot of action, and what I'm waiting to do is I want to see the way the fixtures are settling after the March international break, because there's going to be a couple of weeks which I think are going to be really compressed and full of action. So I'm going to then try and stagger in. Tell me if I'm doing it wrong. Stagger in a smart wild card move a week in advance of playing a bench boost, and then stagger in a smart other move off the back of that to play a triple captain.
That totally makes sense.
Good.
Basically, the reason you're here is because Liverpool have a double game week this week.
Yeah.
And that's why everyone's sort of like piqued their interest in Liverpool players all of a sudden. And then basically after the FA Cup matches next week, all the fixtures will basically be settled. We'll know when all the double game weeks are. We'll know when all the blank game weeks are. So that's when you need to make your plan and basically figure out, this is when I'm going to wildcard, this is when I'm going to bench boost, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Great. Okay. Well, I'll get that sorted out for then.
DM me anytime.
I'm kicking around. I'm actually kicking around my own triple captain on Salah this week.
Yeah.
Because Palace away and Wolves at home feels about as viable as it's likely to get for him. So that's the one thing that is in my mind this week around whether or not, is it cometh the hour, cometh the man.
Well, so let's just start right there. Is it cometh the hour? Is it cometh the man? I mean, Liverpool results are all over the place. There have been a little bit of an upswing in the league, and then the Real Madrid thing happens. But the attack has kind of always been good, right? They keep scoring goals. Mo's numbers are a bit down from past seasons, but they're still really good, elite even. So where are you at with the attack? Do you think it's Darwin, Gakpo, Mo, left to right? Is that the way forward? Is Jota and Bobby, going to kick the door down, get a start? Like, what are you thinking there?
I think I wondered if Nunez wasn't fully fit for the Madrid game. Yeah. So he had the shoulder injury, and I wonder whether or not Nunez might well miss out against Palace. And he might err on the side of he just needs a little bit more healing time and use him from the bench if we need him. Yeah. There's something else. So Nunez has scored 2 opening goals in back-to-back games, which is really significant both from a sporting point of view. Last season, Jota got 15 league goals, and 10 of them came when Liverpool were either drawing or losing.
Wow.
Which is one of the reasons Liverpool have missed him so much. He scored a lot of game-breaking goals or goals that were game-defining. And Liverpool, and he doesn't, in amongst his 15 goals and his 10 critical goals, he doesn't get, he doesn't play every game or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I wondered if this weekend might be the return of Jota from the start, which makes the idea of, for instance, committing to Nunez, I think, a little bit difficult for people.
Yeah.
I think there's a fighting chance that one of Jota starts the next two, and one of Jota and one of Firmino each start each of the next two.
Okay.
But both of them don't. The one certainty I think you have is Salah will start both.
Yeah.
And that's the Klopp Liverpool defining certainty. Firstly, because there isn't the same range of tactical options in terms of who plays off the right-hand side. I think he might consider using Diaz there occasionally when Diaz is back, but Diaz isn't back. So I think Salah will start both. And that's my one sort of Liverpool attacking certainty is I think Salah will start both. It's also worth remembering that the weekends, even though it doesn't filter into this game week, the following game is Manchester United at home.
Yep.
And I think he'll want whatever he views to be his first 11 to be available for Manchester United at home. So he'll want them working towards peak physical condition for that in there. And he'll compromise a couple of decisions around Crystal Palace and around Wolves, around getting that where he wants it.
Okay, that's very good to know, because a lot of people are buying Gakpo, buying Darwin, going for the huge haul, like the 3-goal double game week.
Gakpo started every game since he signed.
Yeah, that's
at some point that stops, and I sort of wondered if that's this week. So I think he may well have in his mind. I think the key question is: does he think his starting 11 for Manchester United is starting 3 in attack for Manchester United is Nunez, Gakpo, and Salah? If he does, then I don't think Gakpo gets both the next 2. If he doesn't, and he thinks he might go with one of Jota or Firmino, there's a chance he has his eye on, I'll rest Gakpo for the Man United game,
right?
But I'll use Firmino and Jota in conjunction with Gakpo, Salah, and Nunez around rotating in the other 2 off the bait. But Gakpo gets both full games, or certainly gets 2 starts, because in my mind he's not going to start Manchester United. Gakpo that was scored 2 in the last 2 league games, so I sort of wonder whether or not he's got United for Gakpo in mind, and I think he's not going to rush. He's ultimately, you look at Liverpool's April now and the way it's all opened up for them. I think he's going to want to feel he's got as close. He's not going to want to risk Jota, I don't think, in any way, if he can manage him through March and then run him in April. I think he'll want to feel like he's got Jota at the best of his ability in April, and he's got them all fit, fired and bubbling for April, because Liverpool's April is now, 6-7 league games back-to-back, allowing for the fact there's not some sort of mad series of events in Real Madrid, which I don't think any of us think.
I hope so, but we'll see. All right, so that's interesting on the attack. But what about the defense? I think the defense is really, when we look back at the season, this will be like, what the hell happened? The defense really fell off. The clean sheets aren't there. Conceding big chances on the counter every game. Conceding set-piece chances every single match. I mean, do you think there's any form to the defense in the league before the Real Madrid game? Like, you look at Everton, you look at Newcastle, they were keeping
there is. I think there's a desire to sort of... Newcastle becomes a weird game after the sending off.
Really weird, yeah.
But everything that happens before the sending off is the bits that matter. So there's the early save for Alisson. But apart from that, Liverpool, look all right. They don't look perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Everton don't really land a glove. They hit the post just before the opening goal. But apart from that, there's not really much in there. And one of the things about sort of Palace and Wolves at the minute is that neither of them are attacking particularly well. Wolves, albeit recently, did very well against Liverpool. But even that was off the back that Liverpool shot themselves in the foot in the first 15 minutes, which I don't sort of see happening at Anfield. So you can make an argument of, that Liverpool could well keep 2 clean sheets back-to-back, would make it 4 consecutive clean sheets in the league. The issue is, I don't think you've got clarity on who'll play centre-half next to Van Dijk.
Right.
So I think there's no guarantees Gomez gets both games. I think he'll get one of the 2. But I think one of the little sort of Real Madrid lessons, and one of the lessons from Joe Gomez since he's come back from his last injury, is I think he struggles with back-to-back games midweek and weekend. I think he's still not fit physically the same as he was before that injury. So I think Van Dijk's got a level of surety about him if people are looking for a pick. But Van Dijk obviously comes with expensive. So I think that's a little bit of a difficult one.
It's all Trent and Robbo, though. Those are the FPL guys.
Yeah, but first and foremost, the one thing I would be aware of, I think, is if Liverpool do well in either of the next 2 in the first 50 minutes, I think he will be eager to sub either of the fullbacks.
Oh, interesting.
So you've got to get to the hour mark, haven't you? I know this these
for
days.
The Queen. Yeah,
you've got to get to the hour mark, and I think he'll be eager to sub either. I think he'll want to start them in both. He may do something around the edges with Shimikas for the Wolves game, but I don't see it. But it would not surprise me, for instance, if you saw, if Liverpool were 2-0 up against Wolves on Wednesday, and it's 55 minutes on the clock, and Liverpool feel as though they're finding it quite easy. James Milner coming on for Trent Alexander-Arnold doesn't make me think that will never. I'm not going. There's no way on earth they will do that.
Or even Gomez.
Or even the possibility of Gomez in there as well. So I'm I'm of the view that that's possible. The other thing is, the other flip side of this, again, and to go back to Van Dijk, is I do wonder, Liverpool in seasons gone by have found a way to outperform the set piece expected goals, but they haven't really this season in the league. And I wondered if that's something that may well come in the next couple. That's not to say that, Liverpool haven't scored set piece goals. They have. But normally, in seasons gone by, they trend a little higher, but they've tended to find a way to get some overperformance in there as well. So what they've found difficult, though, obviously, in this campaign is just sort of ratcheting that up a tiny amount. So last season, for instance, the set piece goals was 0.5 per 90. Which is obviously really, really strong.
It's crazy high.
And City's was really, really high as well. Over the course of the campaign, at least because you end up getting, you get a number of them and you can go from there. And that's all different types of set pieces and includes penalties. But I think that Liverpool can find the way through that a little bit as the season wears on. And it wouldn't surprise me if one of the improvements that you see with Van Dijk back in the side, and especially if Konate gets himself back in, which isn't yet, then Liverpool may well look a little bit more dangerous from those set pieces too. And Virgil's background, it isn't that he's a consistent goal scorer. Don't get me wrong, but he tends to get a few a season, and he's so far this season. You haven't seen that. You haven't seen that to any great degree. It's 2 league goals so far. He got 3 last season. In 2020, he gets 5. In 2019, he gets 4. In 2021, obviously, because he gets the injury, he doesn't really get any at all. I sort of think it wouldn't surprise me if Virgil ended up back at 4 or 5 by the end of the campaign. But obviously, you can't say, well, and it'll be one of them will be. It'll be this game.
Yeah, that's the problem with center back goals. I think, but the reason everyone's into Trent and Robbo right now is they have the history of being just like massive FPL point scorers, like best in the game by far, and that's why they're priced so high. And I think the other thing is also, and I'm curious what you think about this, it seems like Liverpool are sort of back to that 2-5-3 to me. Like Robbo is getting into the box, he's making those far post runs. Trent is more in those attacking positions, like more final third crosses, getting more space in there. So I think that is also a big reason why people are thinking, they might not keep a clean sheet. Like, the defense is inconsistent, but, goals are there, assists are there, set pieces are there for both of them.
And also, I think for Robertson, the interesting thing is he's not got a league goal yet this season. He got 3 last and 3 a couple of seasons before. Yeah, I think there's a little thing at the minute where I think Robertson's been getting himself in at the back post. So it wouldn't surprise me if Robertson sort of, if this continues, if Robertson is able to get himself on the score sheet at some point soon. And I think you can make an argument around the next 2 on that one.
Yeah. And then Trent is self-explanatory, right? The corners, the crosses, all that. So, even if they get subbed early, I think people are thinking, maybe 1 clean plus an attack and return plus some bonus points. Like those are the guys we want to ride. But that's basically it from a fantasy perspective. I don't think anyone's getting, Bajatic or any of the midfielders.
No, but Bajatic is cheap, is what I would say. The only thing is, again, I don't think he's going to get both games. So I think
there's nothing there,
and that's difficult. But he scored against Villa. I don't think the idea of him banging one is ridiculous. But I don't think it's, I don't think you can't build your house around who he's going to pick in the midfield for the next 2 games. And so it becomes really, 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 really difficult, to sort of say that anyone's any particular value for the next 2. You don't know who he's going to pick and who he's going to start. And he may well be managing legs in the second game of the 2.
Yeah, if you knew ahead of time who was starting and you could pick who's playing that sort of Hendo, Harvey Elliott free role, I think that could be, but it's just not there for FPL. It could be anyone. Yep. All right, Neil, that's it. Just a quick little Liverpool roundup before the double game week.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no,
good luck, everyone.
You coming on. Yeah, good luck, everyone. Where can people listen to you?
Oh, the AnfieldWrap.com, and there's an app, and there's all sorts of stuff, and people will probably know where we are by now. But if they don't, we've got lots and lots of fantastic stuff about Liverpool. Download the app. Go to the AnfieldWrap.com. It's in the Play Store as well, and whatever the other ones are called. I don't even know what they're called.
Who cares?
I just do the talk, and other people do those bits. I'm so rubbish at all this. But yeah, and on all social media platforms, the Anfield Wrap, and you find everything there.
Perfect. Cheers, Neil.
Thanks all.